Hey friends, welcome to another amazing interview with a great friend of mine, Deborah Piscione. She is a best-selling author, and you have to listen to the lessons in her book. Deborah, I'll let you do the talking. Welcome to the Undisrupted Summit.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing. You know what the summit is all about? Helping attendees and whoever is viewing this video series just get an edge on what they're doing, whether it's their business, their entrepreneurship journey, their leadership journey, what have you. I really want people to adapt a few lessons from everybody in the summit and just do a little bit. No need to carve out a mountain, but if we all do a little bit of what everybody's saying, I think we will reach an incredible place. So here we are.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, my story in a nutshell is I had spent 18 years in Washington, D.C. So I worked on Capitol Hill. I was appointed in the White House, and then I fell into media with MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News as a political commentator. And I realized after being in DC for 18 years, it wasn't until we moved to Silicon Valley that I realized that I did two things really well. I learned how to divide people into an us versus them mentality, because in Washington, D.C., of course, it's about the politics. You're a Republican, Democrat, you're for the bill, you're against the bill. It was just very much these, diametrically opposed sides always going to battle against one another. And the other thing that I learned how to do really well is to put fear in people. Because when you put fear in people as a commentator or in politics, you really galvanize people to support your political campaign or to increase your viewership, on that particular network. Well, when we moved to Silicon Valley in 2006, I had to adopt an entirely different mindset where rather than people asking me, where did you go to school or who do you work for, as if that demanded or commanded my value at that moment, it was, how can I help you? And I was at a Starbucks in Silicon Valley within 3 weeks of being here. And someone asked me that very question, which then led to one of the premier meetings with a venture capitalist. I was funded by that venture capitalist, and then that company sold 18 months later. And so I was fascinated with this just completely different mindset of collaboration, supporting people, helping people along, even competing with or collaborating with your competitors. Because it is inevitably what led to my first success with a startup. And so I ended up writing that initial book, Secrets of Silicon Valley, to teach people, whether you're in another community, how do you build a similar alchemy? Or as an individual, how do you design a mindset that is more effective towards success overall? And so it's been an incredible journey. I've spent an equal amount of time in Washington, D.C. and now Silicon Valley. And I typically build out a company, write a book based on those learnings, go on a speaking tour, and then wash and repeat. And it's just been a really incredible journey along the way. And I have my next book coming out January 28th called Employment is Dead: How Disruptive Technologies Will Revolutionize the Way We Work. And so now I'm taking a big look at the future of work and the future of business.
Oh, I love it. You've got your hands all tied up. You're busy, and I'm looking forward to actually reading the new book. You know, what do entrepreneurs need to do today when it comes to, let's say, the lessons in your previous book or the coming book, actually, which is even more exciting? What is the future of work? Where are we headed? Where should people focus in order to be successful? Because I believe we don't have a lot of time anymore. We can't just sit and fish all day long and hope, something will fall in our lap. You've got to be aggressive, focused, urgency-minded, and you've got to know what you need in order to get it. You can't just be generalized, right, in your approach to life. What are some of your teachings or advice to people?
My greatest advice is to take risk. Unfortunately, the way we're raised in society, the way we're educated, We end up becoming more about risk aversion and staying within the lines and not being allowed to color outside of the lines. And that's going to be the greatest threat moving forward. We really have to think of ourselves, whether we're working for a big enterprise company or not, we've got to think of ourselves as entrepreneurs, because the one thing we know for future, for sure, is the uncertainty that's going to come along with being in a workplace environment. And so now it's really about being more about adopting and understanding what I'm truly passionate about, and rather having one career path, you're having a portfolio career.
Yeah.
You're maybe doing a lot of different things simultaneously because you have a lot of interest or you like the flexibility. So things are rapidly changing as more enterprises adopt AI. More people are going to be starting to lose their jobs because we're going to come to the realization that 3 or 4 people can do, one person can do the job of 3 to 4 people. So it really is about being very in tune to what we're passionate about and not being or apologizing or being embarrassed about any of it, but capitalizing off of it. So I could code, I could bake cookies and sell them. I could do gardening projects or landscape projects. All simultaneously, we are moving into this hyper gig economy where we can cobble together, really interesting ways to make a living and be much happier with the flexibility that we'll have along with it.
Yeah, this is, it was so well said. This is kind of getting me into thinking that, people, generally speaking, need to be able to, it's not just about expression. It's not about expressing what you want to do or what you think you're capable of doing, but also knowing what you need to express, right? And we often hold ourselves back and not think, hey, I can't be an artist. I can't paint because I have a job, or I can't do that, make pottery and sell it at the Sunday market because I have a job. We often hold ourselves from doing all these smaller things that we close up our personality and we become a different person, right? Is the
Yes.
future about opening up to possibilities and not being afraid? Is it the era of boldness coming up right now? Where are we headed?
I think it's about authenticity. I love dogs, and irrespective of my professional success, about 10 years ago, my boys had started a dog walking and dog sitting business.
Yeah.
And, when they went off to college, we realized we couldn't say goodbye to these dogs. We had these dogs in our lives for so long, and I continue to do that. And I'm very proud to be, a corporate executive, a trusted advisor, but somebody who loves dogs and want dogs to be happy while their owners are away. So it really is about authenticity and not apologizing for anything that interests us. And that's really going to be highly driven by Gen Z, who's already adopted not only kind of that portfolio mentality, but has also adopted the future of work. So in the workplace, it's going to be kind of a inverted pyramid, if you will, because this is the first time we're having a generation come into the workforce who really knows the future better than the current people at the top.
Do you have any advice or guidance on how to find out what your portfolio career can be? Like, is there some kind of a framework, thinking process, daydreaming process that you advocate for?
I think it's just tapping into all the things that interest you. So if you're a soccer player, you played in college, you play on the side, maybe you want to teach soccer on the weekends. It's just really a hybrid of being able to capitalize and being able to market yourself for anything that you love to do. And maybe you're only spending 40% of the time on what you were trained to do, what you were educated to do, and 60% of the time doing other things.
Yeah. And it's not about just the money people are able to make, or, the financial well-being that comes with it, but it's also about, creating more value in different ways, in having satisfaction that you've done a specific thing or contributing. I'm super excited about the future of work generally. So you're right, right where we need to be. What about you've authored multiple books. Where can we find your books? And yeah, tell us more.
So Amazon is the greatest place. This next book is being published by Harvard Business Review, so that you can also go to their site
Yeah.
directly as well. All of my books are on Amazon, and we're really excited because not only do we talk a lot about the technologies that are needing to be adopted, but more importantly, the people side of the equation of this massive disruption that we're going through, because it is people at the end of the day that come up with great ideas and can really kind of shepherd along as we transition into the era of AI and other Web3 technologies
Yeah.
as well. But it's a whole new mindset that also needs to be adopted. So in our book, Employment is Dead, we do talk about this very critical mindset shift that companies need to adopt and we need to adopt.
Yeah.
And that's really the framework of the future of work, the future of business, and the future of individuals playing a role in the economy.
Excellent. Do you have a website our listeners could go to?
We do. It's www.work3.me, work the number 3.me.
So work3.me is where we
Yes.
can find your work, your book, and I'm looking forward to getting your book whenever it's out, and definitely we'll check it out. But I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart, Deborah. It's been so nice chatting with you, and I wanted this interview to be short interviews where we just take the cream and we go use it. So the future of work is important. Express yourself, go and explore and take smaller risks, and then get into large risk taking if you want to, folks. But you got to do what you love, and unless you don't explore, you will never know what you really love. Like you can't love something without experiencing it first as well, I guess, for me at least. So
You're absolutely right.
thanks so much, Deborah. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and everybody, thanks so much. Deborah, thanks, and we will catch up another time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent.